Some fool muttered death or liberty. There were 6 of us together, a jolly hungry crew. And as the days went by, you know our hunger quickly grew. And some fool muttered death or liberty. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs, they were rumbling all through the night so dark, wondering, trying to keep ourselves alive. When the sun came up next morning, well, the 6 had turned to 5, and I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down, for it's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town, the 5 of us were nervous, and I tell you that's a fact. But you should have seen the bastard who was carrying the axe. He was a sick man, he had murder in his heart. And then we reached the Franklin River. It took 2 days to cross. We were wet and almost starving, and for food at a loss. When we were hungry, we had murder on our minds. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs, they were rumbling all through the night so dark. They were making noises that the deaf could not ignore. And when the sun came up next morning, well, the 5 had turned to 4, and I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down, it's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town, the 4 of us kept on marching to a place called Western Tears, a country full of tasty game. For us it lent no cheer, we had no guns, we were traveling without hope. But the accent loomed so ominous, God's hand was at play. For a sick man is a type of game which cannot run away. So stay easy, my good man, your time's at hand. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs, they were rumbling all through the night so dark. Can't say that I feel guilty, cause after all it wasn't me. But when the sun came up next morning, well, the 4 had turned to 3, and I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down, for it's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town, of us kept on moving, but one was fading fast. He had been bitten by a snake, you could see he would not last. So stay easy, my good man, your time's at hand. And when he could march no longer, his days faded fast. We were far too weak to carry him, subsistence, it comes first. Stay easy, my good man, your time's at hand. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs, they were rumbling all through the night so dark. It was a messy job, but it was one we had to do. And when the sun came up next morning, well, the 3 had turned to 2, and I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down, for it's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town, been looking at me funny, sort of eyeing me for days. And you would not need to be too bright to know that bastard's ways. He was a sick man, he had murder in his heart. But even bastards have to rest, and even bastards have to sleep. And when he was in the land of Nod, straight over I did creep. And the axe that he had wielded was all mine. So that night I built the fire out of twigs and out of bark, and my stomach kept on rumbling all through the night so dark. Now I can't say that I enjoyed it, and it wasn't exactly fun. But when the sun came up next morning, well, the 2 had turned to 1, and I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down, for it's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town, is a pack of lies, as any fool can tell. So when I got down to Hobart Town, I told my story well. Do you think they would believe one word I said? For they thought that I was covering for my mates still at large. Should they be roaming in the bush so wild and free? Back to old Macquarie Harbour they sent me. But I remembered the fires made of twigs, made of bark, how my stomach kept on rumbling all through the night so dark. And this young fool, he just said to me, hey, it's liberty or death. And he looks a rather tasty one. This time I'll go north and I'm singing, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Choose me and hold it down, or it's